magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
I can tell you, Evil Queen, that you're not the fairest one of all, but you are one of the most iconic villains Disney has ever brought to life. The Evil Queen's transformation from calm, hateful ruler to mad witch is a metamorphosis which has clutched the hearts of millions of people. Since her creation, she has become a true force of darkness in the Disney parks and the show Fantasmic. While we also have learned versions of her backstory in shows like Once Upon a Time and the novel by Serena Valentino, Fairest of All, A Tale of the Wicked Queen. The Evil Queen is a fantastic character who deserves to be explored. Hello, I'm Isaac from Want So Videos, where we discuss fun topics for fun people, and today I'm going to explore the Evil Queen's full story. In the early stages of designing the Wicked Queen, she was drawn as a fat, frumpy, comical character in the style of the characters of the Silly Symphonies. However, when Albert Herder introduced a more realistic style of character design to the Disney animators, it was ultimately decided that the Queen should be more beautiful, cold, and sinister, creating a much scarier character than had ever been attempted in animation before. This idea of a fat, crazy queen would later be used for the Queen of Hearts, but until then, the Evil Queen was going to be a truly frightening villain and a symbol of darkness. In an enchanted forest lived a small kingdom and a beautiful woman with a variety of magical abilities and items. After the death of the queen of this land, this woman married the king to give his daughter Snow White a motherly figure as Snow grew up. Soon after this new queen came into power, the king passes away, allowing this evil queen to finally reveal her true intentions. Although today we are comfortable with the idea the Evil Queen is Snow White's stepmother, in the first Brothers Grimm version of this fairy tale, the queen was Snow White's biological mother. However, in all later versions, this was changed. Although the Walt Disney Company now only acknowledges Snow White's stepmother as the Evil, Wicked, or Snow Queen, although Snow Queen is only used in some theme parks, in early publicity material and comics, she was referred to as Queen Grimilda. With the freedom to wield the power of the throne as she wishes, the queen focuses not on governing her new kingdom, but instead dedicates her time to ensuring she remains the fairest woman in the land. She is cold and cruel, locking up those who oppose her and threatening those who question her. What enraged and engulfed the Evil Queen the most was her vanity and obsessive jealousy of the beauty of her stepdaughter, for they were opposite characters. Snow was bright, pure, beautiful, and young, while the Evil Queen was aging, dark, and envious. To squelch Snow, the Queen attempts to hide Snow White's beauty by covering her in rags and forcing her to work as a scullery maid around the castle, but her plan could not hide the truth. When the Evil Queen confronted the slave in the magic mirror, he states there is another who is more fair than she, referring to Snow. Envy and rage led the queen to summon her loyal huntsman, who she demands to murder Snow White and return with her heart. In one of the oldest versions, the huntsman brings her the liver, heart, and lungs of a boar, and the queen, thinking them to be Snow White's organs, eats them in a stew. While in Disney's version, the huntsman only brings the heart of a boar, and it is shown to the magic mirror. The slave explains this is not the heart of Snow White, infuriating the queen. As the most powerful woman in the land, with untapped magic at her disposal, she is determined to win. She wants to exert power and prove she can obtain everything she has ever wanted. So she uses her dark magic to concoct a potion to transform her into a hideous hag to disguise herself from Snow. In this form, the Evil Queen becomes more outwardly maniacal and sadistic, constantly cackling insanely. In the original fairy tale, the queen did not drink a potion to transform into a peddler woman, but merely painted her face. Regardless, once her disguise is finished, she creates a poisoned apple with a sleeping death curse and begins to travel to find Snow in the woods. The original tale had the Wicked Queen visit Snow White 3 times, each time in a different old woman disguise with a different object. First, she brought a corset to draw the breath from Snow White, but her friendly dwarves arrive in time to remove it. During the second attempt, the queen tries to kill her with a poisoned comb, which was removed from her hair by the dwarves, which saved her. The third time was the poisoned apple, which was finally the curse the dwarves could not stop. The queen knew how to deceive Snow. She knew what to say and do to have Snow let her into the cottage and have her eat the apple. Snow's pure heart just could not sense the deceit within the old woman. By stating the apple was a magic wishing apple, Snow is convinced to take a bite, sending her into a deep, unwakeable sleep. The dwarves converge on the hag, knowing what she has done to their beloved Snow White. They chase her down in a raging storm, and at the top of a mountain, she attempts to push a boulder down to crush the dwarves. But in the end, the cliff breaks, plummeting her to her death with the boulder not far behind. In some versions of the fairy tale, the queen was actually killed much later, and in a far more gruesome manner. The queen actually escapes the dwarves, but after hearing a beautiful girl was being married in another kingdom, the queen arrives to the wedding of Snow White. To pay for her cruel behavior, the queen is forced to wear red-hot iron shoes and dance with them in front of Snow White until she drops dead. Later in Balderized versions of Snow White, the queen is said to have died instantly from the rage in her heart after seeing Snow White still alive. Unlike villains like Ursula or Jafar, who had their Disney canon appearances grown upon by TV shows and direct-to-video sequels, the Evil Queen's story has remained relatively unchanged since the decades after her first appearance. The Evil Queen is meant to be a face of evil, just like Snow White is the face of purity. She's an icon for darkness, whose story has been told in hundreds of iterations. Some stories like Serena Valentino's story, Fairest of All, A Tale of the Wicked Queen, paints her in a far more tragic light. In the story, the Evil Queen is a broken woman who suffers from emotional abuse from her father, making her extremely insecure about her beauty. Once Upon a Time also does a great job at having us sympathize for the queen, also known as Regina, which translates to queen in Latin. We see the fall of Regina to darkness and her struggle to rise out of it. She isn't obsessed with beauty, she's jealous she cannot find her own happiness. Even after she has befriended those who were once her enemies, Regina struggles with guilt she has from her horrible deeds. In stories like Descendants, the creators accentuate the Evil Queen's envy and love of beauty. In this version, she's constantly obsessed with finding her daughter Evie a rich royal husband and demands she always acts like a lady. Today, the Evil Queen most frequently keeps her original personality from Disney's 1938 version and is brought into situations in crossovers like Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Keepers, Disney Comics, and Disney Park Productions. Although there are many different versions of her character now that can explain why she became the way she is, I think Disney's animated character is meant to simply be a menacing person who swirled deeper into insanity and darkness as she felt more desperate. To contrast the good that was born within Snow White, Disney created an unexplainably wicked villain in the Evil Queen. The simplicity of her darkness makes her easily recognizable as a villain, and her descent into madness is iconic, allowing her to remain one of Disney's greatest villains. Now it's time for the question of the day. How do you think the Evil Queen learned her dark magic? Love to hear your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other ideas you have for future Discovering Disney episodes. If you enjoyed this video, then click that like button. If you'd like to stay up to date with new magical videos, then click that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter. And to see more Watso videos, then check out some awesome pics over here. As always, thanks for watching, and have a magical day.